You'll be amazed at what Jeff Merkley announced. He's going bigger than the White House. Subscribe to stay up to date on Jeff Merkley and the 2020 Democratic primaries. On the line with us is my senator, one of my two senators, Senator Jeff Merkley, one of the really genuinely great guys in the U.S. Senate, one of the true progressives, a genuine progressive hero, a guy that I think would make a great president. And Senator Merkley, welcome back to the program.
Oh, thanks so much, Tom. Good to be with you.
And I understand that you made a decision here about whether to run for president. And well, let me just hand it to you. I saw your video this morning, and if you could recap the points you made in it, it was so brilliant. I was going to play it on the air if we couldn't get you live, because but it's here. Let me hand it to you.
Well, thanks. And I've been fully exploring the 2020 primary, pondering how can I best use these few years that I have on the planet to make the world a better place. Is it running for re-election to the Senate and fighting to elect others? Is it running for president myself? And I came to a decision that, in fact, I am not going to run for the presidency. I am going to run for re-election. It just comes down to this. We have these three really big crises. We have a democracy crisis with gerrymandering and voter suppression and dark money. We have a climate crisis with carbon pollution driving climate chaos. And we have a crisis in terms of investing in the foundations for thriving families, healthcare, housing, education, living wage jobs. And we can have the best president in the world, combine FDR and JFK and whoever else your heroes are, and still get nothing done if we don't turn the Senate into a place that can actually function as a legislative body. And so I feel that's where my ability to be on the battlefield in a positive, productive way is to help with that battle in the Senate.
Well, I applaud you, and if there's ever anything that we can do, with this program to help you in that work, just give us a shout. The door is literally always open here for you. What are the things that, in your opinion, forgive my voice here, it's kind of going out. What are the things, in your opinion, that are before the Senate, that are before you, that should be our highest priorities right now? You just identified three broad areas, but is there specific legislation in any of those areas that people should be jumping on board about? Are there any calls to action, things that you would like people to call their senators? The congressional switchboard is 202-225-3121 to promote. I know you've been doing a lot of work and been down to the southern border, and you've been down to some of these child detention centers, for example. You have been a hero in highlighting that issue, and now we're seeing just the incredible damage that's being done to these children. Two of them have died now at the hands of the Trump administration. But what's your list?
Yes, so I really encourage people to help the House right now get key bills passed, even though at this moment the Senate will be a graveyard, I'm sorry to say, because Mitch McConnell is not interested in taking on the issues of housing or health care or education or infrastructure even for that matter, or living wage jobs. He's not interested in putting things on the floor that will address gerrymandering or voter suppression or dark money, all of which have to be addressed. He's certainly not interested in taking on climate through we have a huge number of tools that we can deploy. So the House is going to be the place I encourage people to really push their House members. We need to lay out an agenda there that will set the foundation for the 2020 battles to come. And I do, and you raise this issue of our treatment of migrant families, and so let me pivot to that for a moment. I'm going to be going back down to the border to visit another so-called temporary child prison in Homestead. It's a prison that's being expanded. I pushed for Tornillo to be shut down. It was shut down. I'm going to go down to across the border into some of the encampments where we're shoving people back across the border. It comes down to this. We are treating those fleeing persecution around the world as criminals, and we should never treat people in that fashion.
These are refugees, are they not?
Oh, what's that?
These are refugees, are they not?
They're refugees. They're refugees. They're refugees from war, from economic disasters, from natural disasters, from religious oppression. They're refugees, and we are a nation of immigrants. We should understand and want those refugees to be treated as we would have wanted our ancestors to be treated, with respect and decency, as a way to an asylum hearing. And the children, I mean, we had in December 15,000 children in Trump's child prison system across the country, and he's had these internment camps, and he wants to expand them. We're not even doing basic health care when migrants come across the border, which is why those 2 children died. I went down with the Hispanic caucus to look into that. Turns out when the administration says they're doing wellness checks, that's not a wellness check. What they're doing is asking a room full of refugees if anyone needs assistance. That's what they call wellness checks. They don't take the temperature, ask the children when they last ate, ask if they're feeling ill, or any just the basics of a true wellness check. And and quite frankly, here's the thing: when you ask a room full of refugees if anybody needs help, nobody speaks up, because they're afraid of being separated from their family members. They're afraid of being singled out, and so that's another piece of the puzzle where just the Trump team is getting completely wrong. But they are treating these refugees as political pawns, and they're willing to inflict trauma on children as part of a political strategy, and that is just an evil, evil thing.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just a political strategy. I mean, John Kelly came right out and said, basically, I'm not even paraphrasing, I'm rephrasing, but basically he said, if we can inflict enough pain on parents and their children, it will cause other parents with children to say to themselves, I'm not willing to go there and endure that pain. I'm not willing to take that chance. And that seems to me like it's so contrary to traditional American values that it's shocking. And yet the Republican Party has wholly embraced it.
No, absolutely. And he said that in March 2017 when the administration was new and he was still Homeland Security Director. Now we have a Homeland Security Director who says there's no deterrence plan. There's no child separation policy. She just absolutely lies to the American people and lies to Congress. If I can, Tom, I wanted to pivot, if I can, to talk a little bit about the Green New Deal.
Yeah, go for it. You got this last minute is yours.
Here is the heart of it. We have a massive carbon pollution problem driving climate change at an accelerating pace. It's hurting us everywhere. The Green New Deal says, 1, recognize we have a big problem. 2, that we have to go fiercely and boldly into addressing it. And 3, don't leave behind. And of course, of creating millions of jobs taking on this challenge, don't leave our frontline communities or our rural communities behind. That's the essence of it. That should make sense to everyone, and we've got to do it.
Yeah, I think more people. I used to live in Germany, and keep and I get back there typically once a year, and they have solarized that country. I mean, it's just amazing, and I grew up in Michigan, which is one of the cloudiest states in the United States, and Germany's the cloudiest country in Europe. And it's about the same latitude as Michigan, and they have all this solar power. So it can be done, Senator.
Absolutely. It can be done, and it must be done.
Yeah, amen. Senator Jeff Merkley, his website, Merkley, merkley.senate.gov. If you don't know him, you don't know about the work he's doing, please check it out. You can tweet him at Sen, as in Senator Jeff Merkley.